Hello and welcome to Shafii Academy with Dr. Yusuf Noor. Today in this video you are going to learn how to simplify fractional indices. I'm going to show you also how to compare the roots and fractional indices. So let us get into it. We're going to learn fractional indices. Our learning objectives are simplify fractional indices and compare roots and fractional indices. Before we start the fractional indices, let us talk about a very simple arithmetic skill which we need later. And that skill is multiplying fractions. So I got here a few questions, 3 of them, to revise that simple arithmetic skill that will help us later to simplify fractional indices. So you can stop the video and try to work out and simplify further those 3 fractions, multiplying fractions. Fine, I think you have tried, so let's do it together. Okay, the first one, times, we times the 2 numerators together. That's what we do. So we do 2 times 5 and we do 3 times 7. Okay, that gives you 10 divided by 21. You cannot simplify further. Now when you got something like this, where you got a number in the denominator, in the numerator, and the number in the denominator which are same, you can easily simplify it before you do it. And that actually leaves 5. So the answer is 5. This is something that we need later. Now this is again same. You can simplify by crossing those 2 out and getting 2. So that's how we simplify. Remember please. Okay? Fractional indices. What is fractional index? Fractional indices is when the power become a fraction. Okay, let's take some example like this one. 4 power of half. How do we simplify this? Now there's a key concept that you need to understand. What is important is the denominator of the power, because the denominator of the power here is 2. We need to write down 4 as a small number with the power of 2. You see, 2 power of 2 is 4. Okay, the reason why I write down 2 power of 2 and I make here power of 2 is because the power, this fractional power, has got a denominator of 2. So I'm going to write down this way. If you still remember one of the laws, power of power, we done last lesson, we need to times 2 powers together now. So we're going to take 2 times 1 over 2. We just revise how to multiply fractions. Do you see 2 times this? Because those 2 are same, you can easily simplify by crossing those 2 out. So all what is left now is 2 power of 1, which is simply 2. Okay? Here's another one. And actually this what it means is 8 power of 1/3. Because the denominator of the power is 3, we're going to write down small number with the power of 3. That's what we start with. So 2 power of 3 gives you 8. And then all of them power of 1/3. Now what that means now, that simply means 2 on the top you got 3 times 1/3. Do you see how useful was that fractional and multiplying fractions? So what you need to do is cross those 2 and you got 2 power of 1, which is simply 2. Let's do one more. This is another one. Okay, 8 power of x power of 6. Now because x power of 6 is already multiple of 3, that's fine. But 8 we need to write down as 2 power of 3. So x power of 6, all of them power of 1/3. That's what we got. Now, power of power, so we need to times the powers together. So here we got 3 times 1/3. Okay, here we got x power of 6 times 1 of 1/3. So this power belongs to both of them. So one time is you times 1/3 by 3, and one time is you times 1/3 by 6. Again, we have learned how to simplify and multiplying fractions, so we can actually cross this. We can cross this one with this, but we got 2. Finally, what we end up 2 power of 1, x power of 2. So you no, we don't write down power 1, so that's where we end up. We got 2x power of 2. That's what we got, and that's what you need to get, and that's how you need to solve and simplify fractional indices. I think you understand it. So I got here a few questions for you to try. you can stop the video and try them. Easy one, but it gets a bit harder later. Fine, I think you tried, so let us together. Now this one, what is the denominator of the fractional power? That's 2. So 9 should be written a small number with the power of 2. All of them with the power of half. And that gives you 3 times 2 times half. And then you cross those two simply, and then you got 3. Same here. What is the denominator of the fractional power? That's 5. So 32 needs to be written as a small number with the power of 5, and that's 2. It's easy. Try 1 power of 5. It doesn't give you 32. So if you try 2 power of 5, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 5 times, you will get 32. So you don't need to memorize it. Just get a small number and try to give a power of 5 and see if you go what you need. So that's where we end up. You see, the denominator is 5, the power is 5. Okay, that is going to simplify. Okay, sorry, this was 5. And then we cross those two 5s, and finally we end up 2 power of 2, which is 4. So this number here, this big number here, is just 4. How do we do this? Same. What is the denominator? It's 2. So each number we need to write down a small number with the power of 2, small number with the power of 2, and all of them with the power of half. Okay, now this one we can write down 5, 2 times half, and the bottom one we can write down 8, 2 times half. Each one gets power of half. We can cross those two and find a 5. We can cross those two and find 8. Now this is fractional power, but at the same time it's a negative power, and we got one whole lesson, we done one whole lesson about negative power. So let's get rid of the negative power first. If you still remember, if you get a fraction and you write down as a reciprocal, you flip it. I demonstrate in that lesson. If you haven't watched that lesson, please watch the negative power. So that become like this. You need to convince that. If not, go back and watch the video which is talking about the negative powers. When we reach there, it's just like this equation but upside down. So we are going to write down the top number as 8 power of 2, and the bottom number we're going to write down as 5 power of 2, and all of them power of half. That gives you 8, 2 times half at the top, and that gives you 5 and 2 times half at the top. You cross those two and all what's left is 8. You cross those two and all what's left is 5. If you want to, you can write down as a mixed numbers, up to you. So that's the end. Okay, so this is, although it looks very complicated with the negative power and fractional power at the same time, you get rid of the negative power by writing reciprocal. If you're still struggling, please watch that video which is talking about negative powers and use it. And after that, and because the denominator is 2, you write down each number as a small number with the power of 2, bearing in mind that later you can simplify this way. Okay, I think that's all about fractional indices. If you understand those 3-4 slides, you will understand. The last slide, we're going to compare roots and indices very quick. So I got here 2 things. What is a square root of 9? We know that's 3. What is a 9 power of half? 9 power of half, as we have seen, is 3 power of 2, all of them power of half, and that's the same as 3 power of 2 times half, and by crossing the 2 halves you got 3. So square root of 9 gives us 3, 9 power of half gives us 3. Those two must be exactly the same. So square root of 9 is 9 power of half, and vice versa. Okay, so that's the first one. We got here another one. Okay, now this one is a square root of 8. So let's do a traditional way, the square root of 8. As you know, square root of 8 is 8 times 8, which is 64. 3. Small number, when I times it, when I times 3 times itself, gives me 3. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is times 4 is 64, so the answer is 4. Can we get that 4 from here? Easy. Okay, easy. We're going to write down 8 as a small number with a power of 3, and that's 2 power of 3, and all of them with this, and then we times the 2 powers the way how we done previous slides. That's what we got. We cross those two and we end up 2 power of 2, which gives us 4. So this and this are again same. Okay, fine. I think you understand it. Okay, there's a worksheet that goes with this lesson. Make sure that you complete that worksheet and make sure that you use the answer sheet to mark your work. And thank you for watching, and see you in another interesting lesson. Thank you.